Am I the asshole for not wanting to be a SAHM? Okay, I already know it sounds bad, but I 35 female and my husband Jeff 37 male are currently expecting a boy. His first child, my second. I got pregnant with my first when I was 18 and his dad was never in the picture. I work as a substance abuse counselor and I love my job. This is where it gets tricky. My job offered me 8 weeks PTO for when I have our son. I've been so happy because I didn't want to go right back to work soon. Me and Jeff got together when I turned 30 and he moved in with me because I own my house. We just got married this year and have talked about childcare multiple times, so he knows I don't want to be a SAHM. Well, I'm due in November and he just brought the idea up. I was very confused because we've already talked about this. But I guess my Mill and Sil believe I should stay home with our son, as a mother and wife. I just don't understand where their opinions come in because I already know where they stand. Both of them stayed home with the kids. All three of them sat me down to have this talk, and they want me to focus on the kids, cleaning up the house, making dinner and all of that, but I already work and do those things. Well, Mill decided to throw it in my face that I never got to be a SAHM because I was a single mom going to school and working, which she's not wrong, but it definitely made me pissed that she brought it up. I told them that I worked so hard to give my son a good life, and having another baby doesn't change my decision to keep doing something that I absolutely love doing. And that if they all want someone to take care of the house and kids all day, then Jeff should be a sod because I make more money than him and it would make more sense for him to stay home instead of me. It turned absolutely horrible after that. I got yelled at by Mill and Sil that it's not his role as a father to do those things. That he's the man of the house, and should be the one making the money. Jeff just stood there not saying anything, and I blew up and reminded all of them that it is my house, not his. I kicked Mill and Sil out and Jeff is so mad at me that he went with them. He said he won't come back till I apologize to all three of them. So am I the asshole for not wanting to be a SAHM? Update. It's currently 1:15 a.m. and Jeff just called me. He informed me that he cleared out our joint bank account and deposited it into his personal account. Bill money, savings for future trips, grocery money. That he's been thinking and the only way he'll come back home is if he can be responsible for all the finances, and I put his name on the house too. I said absolutely not and hung up. I have already reached out to my boss and will be working from home tomorrow via virtual meetings. I will be calling and talking to attorneys tomorrow morning to see what my options are. I didn't let Jeff know I will be home, so I'm sure he'll try to stop. I will update again soon. Not the asshole, and I'd think long and hard before letting any of them back in. Editing for update. Trash clearly took itself out. Let it stay there. So am I the asshole for not wanting to be a SAHM? Nope, not the asshole. It's 2022. Op, you make more. It's your house, your ILs are dinosaurs, and your husband just proved that he doesn't have your back. Bonus. Here's your to-do list for tomorrow. 1. Change locks. 2. Make appointment to see family lawyer about custody, parenting time and child support in your jurisdiction. 3. Research them on internet in meantime. 4. Resolve that none of those 3 people gets back in the door unless they provide you with a fulsome, sincere apology. Sorry about the marriage op, I hope it was fun while it lasted. Your edit is horrific. It sounds like Jeff waited until you were pregnant to spring his abusive tendencies on you. Congrats on calling him on his bullshit. Am I the asshole for having a dinner party and not using garlic for the food while still drinking alcohol? This is extremely weird and I apologize in advance for how stupid you're going to think this whole thing is. I can't believe this became a conflict. With the weather being so nice, I decided it'd be nice to have a fun little dinner party. I invited everyone and their SOs if they had them. One of the SOs is Rick. I have always gotten along with him just fine, but he is one of those guys who tries to make the most bizarre things into his entire personality. The biggest one is that he's a huge garlic guy. He's one of those guys who makes a huge deal out of how he uses 400 cloves of garlic in a dish. I don't eat garlic. I have GERD from purging, and unfortunately the biggest triggers for me are alcohol and garlic. I'm okay with cooked onions. For some reason in the past 2 years, my sensitivity to garlic has actually gotten worse. So I didn't use garlic in the dishes I made. Not a huge deal, right? I have a pantry full of any other spice in the world and I'm not shy about using them. We were eating and I got some compliments on the food. It wasn't anything special. But Rick said that he liked it but felt the food was missing something, and asked how much garlic I used. I said I don't eat garlic, so I didn't include it. He scoffed and was like, "How can you not use the most basic ingredient to most meals? That's why it tastes like this." He made a big exaggerated face and put the food down. He then asked why I'd have a dinner party if I had such a limited palate and that he wouldn't have people over for Thanksgiving dinner if he was a vegetarian. I said, I have GERD, dude, garlic triggers it. He pointed out that I was drinking alcohol. I said yes, I was in fact drinking one hard seltzer that I had flattened, and that these are the only alcoholic beverage I can drink. And that I was also having one just in case my body changes its mind. He and I went back and forth until his girlfriend, the one who is actually my friend, told him to chill. Rick got kind of louder and was laughing like, come on guys, am I really the asshole here? With his hands out. One of the other guys said that it was a little weird but not a big deal. Anyway, it's a month later and Rick still won't drop it. He keeps insisting that it was a douchey, selfish hosting move to drink the alcohol but not cook with the garlic, because garlic goes in everything. So now I'm curious and thought this would be a fun low-stakes question for you all. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole, super impolite to be invited to dinner and criticize the dishes in the first place. Either compliment it if it's good or don't say anything. The fact that he insisted even when you told him why makes him the awe. Why are you friends with this monumental ass anyway? Someone whose entire personality seems to be about one tiny thing. Who thinks he is the food police? I am a very keen cook, and garlic is inappropriate for many dishes. Not the asshole, of course. I am also curious. Doesn't he stink 24/7? Not the asshole. Rick needs to get his garlic addiction under control, it's affecting his relationships at this point. Like Rick, I absolutely love garlic. Unlike Rick, I don't shame people for not using it, and can appreciate other spices, flavors being used. Pipe down, Rick. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for not wanting to attend a Game of Thrones themed wedding? My friend, Lexa, is getting married soon. She and her husband are extreme Game of Thrones fans. They've watched the show 5+ times. Their house is decked out with Game of Thrones themed decorations, accessories, etc. Because of their shared love of Game of Thrones, Lexa and her fiancé decided to have a Game of Thrones themed wedding. I am perfectly fine with the idea of a themed wedding. I am even okay with the Game of Thrones costume for the wedding. The only thing I can't seem to get behind is the fact that the majority of the wedding will be conducted in High Valyrian. For those who don't know, it's a made-up language from Game of Thrones. And #X200B. Her wedding is also a destination wedding, and I'm finding it hard to justify going out of my way to go to a wedding that's not even in a real language that I won't be able to understand. Am I the asshole if I don't go? I mentioned that I was having doubts to Lexa, and she got really mad at me because I had originally said I could go before I knew it was in High Valyrian. She's also been sending my links to learn High Valyrian on Duolingo, and I feel like even if I did show up, she'd be mad at me for not learning it. Edited to add. The reception will also be in High Valyrian and all speeches and toasts are expected to be in High Valyrian too. I wouldn't feel safe attending a GOT-themed wedding. Who knows if it'll be a red or purple one. Not the asshole. Nah. Your friends can have whatever kind of wedding they'd like. And as long as you are polite and graceful about it, you are not obligated to attend. Insane that anyone would have a Game of Thrones wedding. After how disastrous Season 8 was. All jokes aside, nah. It's their day to do what makes them happy. Completely understandable that you would have prior commitments. Nah. If you don't want to go to a destination wedding, don't go. I will say that it seems weird that you'd be upset that, I dunno, 10 minutes of ceremony will be in a language you don't understand. I mean, I've been to weddings that had a whole ass mass attached. It's a weird choice they're making, not one that I think most people would make, but it's also pretty harmless, and while it's not a choice I would make, you're also not an asshole if you don't want to go to a destination wedding for any reason. Am I the asshole for not taking a conversation about parenthood with my wife seriously? This sounds ridiculous because it is. I, 27M, don't want children. I've never wanted children. My wife, Liz, 26F, is aware of this. I'm in the camp of, if it's not a resounding, I want this with my entire heart and soul, yes, then it's a no. I think kids are cool and wonderful and major sources of joy in life. Do I want to be responsible for raising one? Nope. Prior to getting engaged about a year and a half ago, I lived with my best friend, 28M, and had done so for nearly a decade of my life. He and I each adopted a dog while living together and call each other co-parents. We have doggy playdates on the regular and I'm over at his place multiple times a week because of this. This morning, my wife brought up children. Like I said, she's aware of the fact I don't want them. Her sister recently gave birth to our niece, and while looking at the photos Liz said, "Wouldn't it be nice if we had a baby?" or something along those lines. I responded with, "I'm already the county parent of 2 babies and I don't have room for any more." She got angry at me and said I wasn't taking her or the concept of parenthood seriously. I told her I had no reason to take this conversation or the concept of our parenthood seriously because we are never having kids. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. I'm not sure why she went ahead and married you knowing you never wanted to have children and she did. Not the asshole might want to consider a vasectomy. Not the asshole. But you can't compromise on having children. If one person wants it and someone doesn't, the relationship is doomed. It sounds like your wife may be having doubts. If that's the case, you need to sit down with her and tell her that you do not want children in any circumstances. It sounds like she might be trying to convince you. If she's already thinking about them in her 20s, then it sounds like she has changed her mind. Personally, I would be in charge of birth control if I were you. Having children is not something that you can compromise on. Either she'll be unhappy or you'll be resentful for the child that comes. You need to address this with her ASAP so she can decide if she wants to live with that or find someone who wants to give her children.